We are live. I can see it. Yes, we are online, guys. What's up, guys? I'm assuming, right? I haven't seen the tweet, but it looks like we are live, right? It looks like it. I see it. Nice. What's up, guys? I still don't see the tweet, but I do see that D Live is even streaming. Nice. Appreciate it, guys. We are live. It's the Hake Report. Get ready.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
Hey, guys.
Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
So, what's up, guys? I am James Hake. This is the Hake Report without S1. Kind of with Joel. It's been a long time since I've said that. In fact, some of you guys may not even know. Yeah, you can close it. Some of you guys may not even know that the Hake Report originally started out as the Hake Report with Joel and Esteban. And I didn't even come up with the name. It was Esteban. I mispronounce it kind of. But, so it's Tuesday, March 24th, 2020. Thank you, Jesse Lee Peterson, for the opportunity to have the Hake Report, especially in your studio. That's cool. And using Joel. Appreciate it. I am wearing my Tom Like a Mug with Jesse Lee Peterson. See it? Very nice t-shirt. Next Level Tri-Blend t-shirt in vintage black. That means it's a little bit speckly black. Feels good on the body. It's a good fit, whatever. Size medium. Oh, shoot. Teespring.com/stores/Jesse Lee Peterson. You can also find it by going to rebuildingtheman.com/stores. And I am going to get kind of right to your calls, actually. But you can call in 888-775-3773. And we'll get right to it. It's fun. I have a couple of things I want to share with you. One from Sunday, a couple of items from Sunday that I wrote about in the Sunday blog post, but I didn't get to because I was getting so many calls on Sunday. So I just didn't get to it. But thank you, Queen Butterfly. Nice shirt. And then I also will get to your super chats. Appreciate all the super chats, man. Guys and gals. Thank you. Yeah, so has internet rationing started? I've kept on asking that through Jesse's account. I use this thing called Restream Chat, and it's so fun because it compiles Periscope, Alicia, and it compiles Mixer, YouTube, D Live, and on my channels because I do stream on Facebook and Twitch as well. The Facebook and Twitch. That's cool. But internet rationing, that just means like, you know how everybody's using the internet, so it's slowing down because everybody's bored at home. Not everybody, but a lot of people are bored at home, or they're looking on the internet, scouring it for information because they're scared of this coronavirus stuff. I'm halfway mocking the people panicking, but yeah, it can be a serious issue, especially if you're not able to get on because everybody's on Facebook and using up all the internet. And I noticed on the Jesse Lee Peterson show, normally he has like 17,000 viewers live, but he had like 800 to 900. And so it was like cut in half, and people were coming on Jesse Lee Peterson's Periscope stream saying, hey, your YouTube's down. But half of you guys were there. And more people went to D Live maybe, but I don't know. Just asking the question, because I did see that it had been like proposed. So I was just wondering if that's what was going on, or if YouTube was shadow banning us in particular, or if they were going through changes that time of the month for YouTube or something. I don't know. But silly joke. But anyways, I'm going to get to calls, and then I want to talk about people not changing much. A lot of people are not changing much. And sometimes people think that they're better, but they're not. and then they cut slack 17. Oh, whatever. They cut themselves slack 1,700. Did I say 17,000? I don't know. Everybody's making fun of me for saying 17,000. Maybe I meant 1,700. Whatever. I was talking about live viewers. Anyways, let me get to Keith out of Illinois. Maybe I'll ask you guys this question. Keith, good to hear from you. Hey.
What's up, Jake? How you doing, buddy?
Doing fine. How are you?
All right, buddy. I was just calling. I kind of had a question for Jesse, then I had to hurry up and think of a question for you to talk about.
Well, I appreciate you calling my show.
Okay, yeah. It's okay. I'm gonna stick to what now. Earl do call you sometime, right?
Yeah, he does.
Okay.
He's my second favorite caller.
Okay. This is what I want to see. Jesse understands, and I know you understand. I wanted to tell Earl. He said he was like game recognized game.
Yeah.
And I wanted to say, Earl, I recognize your game. You're nothing but a she-male. Okay, Jesse, y'all call them beta males. I call them she-males.
Okay. All right.
Because he like you say, Jesse said, you just like your mama. Jesse is helping people. Okay, he's helping. You hear people calling talking about how their life has changed for the better. He's helping, tens of thousands of people, around the world. Okay.
Yeah. And
all earlier, some old hater, you know what I'm saying? Some, female spirited person that hates the fact that people like Jesse are, doing good for mankind. So he inherited his mother's spirit. So all he is a she-male. Y'all call them beta males. I just call them she-male.
Dang.
Okay, that's what I call them.
That's harsh.
Okay.
All right.
Now, another word I can go to is a delta beta. That's an extra female male.
Okay.
Delta beta.
Yeah.
I
had heard that delta is the next best thing to alpha. I had heard because I have heard these terms, but not in the context that you're using them. Like,
the
she-male sounds
dirty. I've always done it. They inherit such a woman's spirit. Have you ever noticed that these liberal white guys and these black guys are raised by these, the liberal and the Democratic women? They're more feminine than their own mothers.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? They're more emotional.
It is. Yeah. I've noticed that in general, like in society, I've mentioned this a lot, I think, that the girls seem, and the key word seem maybe, more well-adjusted than the males. At least socially, they seem more confident and all that stuff. Of course, when it comes down to like voting, the men are still more sane, generally. But still, like, something's going on where men and boys are just beaten down. Yeah. Not good. And then, and you're right, they do act more female than the women. It's wrong.
I mean, their emotions are higher than a woman's. I'm like, I know some tough women. Okay, they're tough.
Right.
But their sons are so soft. I'm like, wait a minute. If you inherit her female spirit, why ain't you tough like her? Why are you soft? It's like, I can't understand that.
Right. It's true.
I know there's some psychological, scientific, explanation for it, but I don't understand. But I call them she-males because they're more she than males. And that's all I'm a black man, right? I had aunts and cousins. Every time the family members would get together, it would always be them. They couldn't stand us, united, having fun. Yeah. All that evil female spirit would come out of them, and they couldn't. And it's just like Earl, and Earl hates the fact that Jesse hates white, helping white people. He's just full of hate. He's probably living in some nursing home. So I know he's been broke all his life. Just some miserable old she-male living in probably some one-bedroom apartment. Been miserable his whole life, and all he do is want to hate. So I call him she-male.
Man, I feel like telling you to stop using that term. Doesn't that seem? I don't know. It seems wrong. But I appreciate it, Keith.
All right, Jake. Nice talking to you, buddy.
All right. Take care.
And Earl, I hope you heard that you're she-male.
Dang. All right. Thank you, Keith. Yeah. He makes it sound super perverted, right? But if you think about it, it really is perverted to be that way. It's a total perversion. And it is disgusting to be a beta male, right? It just is. Very disrespectful. Oh, man. All right, let me get to Richard out of South Carolina. Richard, good to hear from you.
Hey, what's going on, James, with the good hair?
Not much. It's nice to hear from you.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you for taking my call. Man, I don't know where to start. It's been a day, and the world and what all was going on in the world. But first off, these beta males make me sick. All my life,
Which
they made me
ones?
sick.
Which ones? Which
All
beta
of
males?
them.
All of them. Okay.
All of them.
Dang.
But yeah, I mean, I'm like I said, I'm 50. They're getting so much worse. And then in the, and I told you I was a substitute teacher.
Yeah.
And I go into schools, and man, they're everywhere. And you know what's gotten them so bad? What made them the way that so empowered them is the anti-no bully movement when that started.
I
And
knew
what
that
happened-
was wrong as soon as it came out. As soon as
What
I started
happened
hearing
was-
about it. Yeah. Go for it.
Yeah, what they did is those little guys back in my day stayed silent and hung out in the band room or whatever, and they didn't come out and run with the big dogs. They stayed away from us.
Right.
Because if they did, they usually got pushed aside.
Right.
And that was the end of it. So now they've been empowered to where if you don't accept me, you're bullying me. I'm going to tell somebody, or somebody else is going to tell somebody, and then the guys get in trouble. I have literally seen one of these little feminine, head bobbing, female acting beta males throwing his hands back and forth like a woman up in a football player's face in a classroom, cussing him out.
Yeah.
And the boy and the jock is like, what do I do with this?
Right.
And just walk away from him. And I'm thinking, man, if that had been back in my day, he'd have got flung up against a wall.
Right.
But no. And see, and they're worse than any bully ever thought of being, because they're evil and mean as the day is long. That boy that called in,
Right.
those couple that called Jesse today, just like women. Did you see the way he lured Jesse into thinking he was calling for a sincere point?
Right.
And then he turned on him and called him the N word and all. That's just the way women work.
Yeah.
You get about 3 girls together, and they so evil that they would actually befriend a girl that they don't like and invite her over to spend the night for a sleepover.
Yeah. If any of you guys missed the show, he's talking about this guy, and it's the second time he's pulled this. Called in talking about, it's my birthday. Do you mind giving me the birthday song? If you don't mind, if not, it's okay. And he said something and whatever, and then later he starts calling Jesse the N-word.
Yeah.
And then he keeps on saying it, and then he hangs up real fast.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't want to actually engage Jesse, because he comes in pretending to be something that he's not, and then off comes the mask. At least my snakes, well, actually, they pretend to be well-meaning too, but they call in with their point, right? They say, you are wrong about 9/11, or you are,
Right.
This guy, he's like, oh, Jesse. Well, anyways, you're right. Yeah.
See, he's sickening.
Yep.
And if I was his daddy, and I hope he's listening, if I was his daddy, and the other guy called Miguel too, if I was their daddy, and I knew what they did when I came home from work,
Miguel.
I would take my belt off and whoop them until they couldn't sit down, and then I'd send them out in the yard and make them bust wood for the fire and stack it on the porch for about 2 or 3 hours until they couldn't hardly stand up.
Man.
And if I didn't have a fireplace, I'd make them bust wood for the neighbor's yard, or clean up grandma's yard or something.
Yeah, I used to have some of my friends would say so and so needs to get beat, and I would be like, "Whoa, really?" But then some of that is like a reality check for people, and some people need that reality check.
Well, it says in the Bible, "Spare the rod,
Yep.
spoil the child."
Yeah.
You're running me. But let me say one more thing before I let you go.
Okay.
I know you got callers that want to talk too. This virus thing going on, in my opinion, is 100% political. It's an attack on the Trump economy and the people that voted for Trump, and it's the Democrats and the Rhino Republicans and the media and just about every news organization is telling on itself, and they're really showing the world our weakness.
Yeah.
And and it's really hurting. It's sad that they would stoop that low, and for the Democrats to be trying to use this as a way of getting some of their agenda on the table.
Yeah.
And using this for political gain. To me, that's saying, well, we're the ones that started the whole virus thing to start with. So, because why would you be, instead of it trying to help the American public in a crisis situation, there's a virus out there killing people and people are losing jobs. There's a drugstore right down here in my town that has been here since the beginning of the town. In the 1800s. I mean, we are a Civil War town.
Nice.
And the drugstore burned about 2 years ago, and they've moved into a smaller building, and they're still, trying to have the business, but they don't have a drive-through. It's a small town drugstore that's in the middle of a Main Street type historical town.
Yeah.
Well, there's a couple more drugstores. There's one that's got a drive-through, and there's one in a neighboring town that's got a drive-through. They got a phone call when this virus thing said, y'all going to have to send your business till this is over to the drugstore down the road because they have a drive-through.
Ouch.
Well, this drugstore is having to close their doors. They're out of business. They're not going to reopen.
Yeah.
They suffered a fire. They went 2 years. They're trying to rebuild, and now this happened. And those employees at that drugstore have no jobs now.
Right.
And are not able to get a job because they got nobody's hiring anybody. Everybody's laying off.
Yeah.
So how are they going to pay their bills?
It's a good question, man. Sometimes life is giving people a tough hand.
That's right, and that's why we need somebody like Donald Trump to step in right now, and thank God for him.
Yeah. Yeah, I trust him. He's handling it right. The rest of these sleazeballs, I do not trust him.
I had thought, the thing I thought whenever this virus scare started, when I very first heard about it, was this is done deliberate.
Well, for sure they're going to deliberately exploit it.
Right. It's deliberately exploited, though, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But whenever the Democrats started showing their hand yesterday and not going along with the stimulus and trying to get their agenda, using it for their own political gain to get their Green New Deal in and all this stuff. I said, you know what, you might as well be saying, we done this, and this is what we want. And in other words, we turned on the hot water, and we're not going to help you turn it. We're not going to turn it off until you do what we want to do.
Yeah. I think you're right. I haven't paid a lot of attention to what's going on, but I heard that they were trying to push the Green New Deal along with this thing. They call that pork barrel, right? Don't they call that pork barrel when they try to shove other things into the same bill?
Yep, that's right.
Yeah. Or something. Anyways, Richard, good to hear from you. I appreciate the input.
Thank you for taking my call, man. Y'all hang in there.
All right.
Tell Jesse, I sure do admire how he handled those guys, man, and he don't never lose his temper. Yeah. I'd have been ready to put my foot up one of them's backside.
All right, Richard. I will pass that along. Thank you, man.
All right, bye-bye.
Take care. Nice guy. let me get to. Garan Bear says, you got a purdy mouth? Whoa. Maze out of Dayton, Ohio. Maze, my favorite caller. What's up?
Hello, James.
Hey.
I mean, people can't give their opinion without have to be beat up and all of that stuff. Because some of them don't have opinions anyway. They just want to act like women and complain about what somebody said.
That's
women.
what those women were doing. Women like, well, Miguel was half woman. And then the other one was like full-on woman. Anyways.
Because Jessica can handle anybody to call him, so why they got to be crying about it? Sound like they're crying. So
some people get annoyed. Some people actually get really annoyed with you, Maze, believe it or not.
Well, like I care.
I don't
care about people.
How.
James,
I'm kidding.
There's one thing I do not care about people disliking me and how they feel about me, because they're supposed to be Christians. I don't consider myself and probably myself a Christian. So if you're a Christian, that's not your move you're supposed to be doing.
Right.
If you know it or not. That's why they're confused.
Yeah.
So I thought Earl should have his opinion. And your opinion shouldn't be trying to discuss because you don't like what he had to say. Why don't you deal with him and see what he got to tell you? I don't care what kind of job Earl does. Earl could be retired. It's sitting back and having nothing to do for all he knows.
Yep.
So stop assuming what you don't know. And sit down and stop screaming out loud and through the Mac.
But you assume what you don't know.
Get yourself together.
Maze, you got to start practicing what you preach. You assume
tell me something that
you're never going to live this one down, Maze.
Tell me something, James.
Let me just tell the people about you.
That's right.
You said that Bible go-to guy probably spit on people, spit on blacks because of how old he is. Because he's just about that age that since he's white in this age, he probably spit on the blacks. I want to know how many boomers spit on blacks. Dang, that's a lot of boomers.
James.
That's too much spit. The blacks would still be swimming in spit if there were that many boomers spitting on blacks.
Now you answer my question.
So you assumed. No, I'm not done with this.
No.
Because you assumed what he did, and then you didn't know.
Yes.
So then you're messing with others. Yeah.
Now what does probably mean?
Probably means you're assuming that it probably happened when there is no probability that that's such a lie. That's such a lie. There's no probability that Bible go-to guy. Hold on, Mace. Shh. Maze, there is next to zero probability that Bible go-to guy spit on blacks.
Yeah, right. And the one that just hung up probably.
He's like, yeah, right.
The one that hung up, he probably said.
That's a typical black response, too, by the way.
He did it in code word. He said back in the day.
There's a very, black person who's into the blackness response. They'll just outright just ignore reality, right? It's kind of like how Trump and Jesse Lee Peterson ignore when the intellectuals try to correct them. I tried to correct Maze in an intellectual way, even though I am right, but it is intellectual the way I did it. And so she's like, yeah, right. And then she kept on steamrolling. That's why the intellectuals hate Jesse and they hate Trump, because Trump and Jesse just steamroll with the truth, just how the blacks steamroll with the lies. They don't care about what reality is. They don't care about math or facts. I do admire that about blacks. That's cool. Anyways.
Are you finished?
Yeah.
Oh, as I said.
Sounds like my wife if I had one.
Your wife? You don't have a wife.
I know if I had one.
I hope I don't sound like your wife. I would have my temper tantrum.
I'd be like, and she's like, you done?
Really? That's why you're afraid to have a wife?
I'm just playing around. Go for it.
Oh, you're just playing around. But as I was saying, you listen to the one that was code word. You know you do code word and people listen. So if you didn't live back in the day, you don't know what happened to people or what they had to do. That don't mean that they have to hate people. You never hear me say I hate nothing.
Right. You don't have to say it. Most people don't admit that they hate.
Cats, I hate those. So if you consider yourself a Christian, you have a different.
From what from based on expert opinion, most people hate their mothers, and they don't admit it, and some of them are not even aware of it. So they don't have to say that they hate. You don't have to say that you hate anybody to hate anybody. I have somebody who wants to talk to you, Mace.
How can you honor your mother and your father and you hate them? I don't understand that.
Because that means that they're not honoring them.
Really? That's right. They're not honoring them.
Right.
So if you're a Christian, you shouldn't be living down that road.
Right.
Okay,
that's why you need to admit reality.
That's why you're confused. That's why why Christians confuse me.
Most
I just
people
want you
don't.
to act like
Most
you're
people
supposed
don't
to.
even
His law.
confess their sins because they don't.
You want to be,
Anyways,
you're supposed to be following God's law, and you're not.
okay.
And you don't have to be a Christian.
I
to do
have
it,
somebody
okay?
who wants to
I'm
talk with you,
listening.
Maze. You want to talk to them?
Sure. No,
Okay,
I'm not
cool.
afraid of anything.
Substitute Maze from Hampton, Virginia. Substitute Maze. Say hello to Maze.
I'm here to help my girl Maze. I'm gonna go on ahead and I'm gonna tell you about what you need to know.
Wow.
Because what do you feel about that stimulus thing that Trump's trying to do?
You know, I
okay,
haven't
you
paid
say you don't like
attention to it at
socialism.
all.
So what's the problem?
I don't have any problem with the stimulus thing, although I haven't read it, so I don't know anything about it. That's why you don't really hear a lot from me about it, the stimulus
But you
thing.
don't hear a lot about it because you ain't doing your research. You just gonna wait till somebody else say something about it.
Correct. I'm waiting for what Trump says. I'm listening to like 3 people about this coronavirus thing. Trump, Mike Cernovich, and
Why doesn't you listen to
Asmodor.
your common sense and use some brain power?
And of course, my boss, Jesse Lee Peterson. Those 4 people. You have Maze laughing. Wait, is this Maze or substitute Maze laughing?
It's funny. It really.
Yeah,
Dad,
so
you got to feel it. I say you miss me so much. You need a substitute. Really. It's better to have a real
Well,
thing.
I
than
didn't
have a
hear a
substitute
thank you
episode.
for me covering for you all those times that you didn't call in. So
yeah.
Excuse me.
it's like, thank you, substitute Mace, for
Okay, if
covering
it makes
for
you
me.
happy.
Stepping
Thank
in
you
when
for-
I'm not doing my job.
I don't have to call every day. That's why you don't hear me. I'm not here to hog up. I like to share. See, people like to share and don't have to call in.
Hey, Maze
and do
and
something.
substitute Maze,
What?
I have a questions for you guys. True or false?
Okay.
True or false? People don't change much.
Yes, they do.
After a certain age, yeah. No. Yeah, you're correct, actually.
And real Maze thinks that people do change much.
Yes, because if you heard some of the conversation I've had with Jesse over the years, you see how much he's changed.
Oh, really? For the better or
Oh,
worse?
yes. The worse.
Jesse Lee
Well,
Peterson
you
has
have to
changed for
trust
the worse
Maze's
over the
judgment
years.
more
It
because
depends on the group that you're surrounding yourself with.
Hey, Maze, I have a question for you on behalf of Mike from San Antonio.
We don't want to hear nothing
He
about
asked
Mike
this.
Spencer.
He asked
You
this
don't know what's going
question,
on.
and he suggested, and I think this might be good advice. Where's your husband? And what does he think about you calling in all the time?
The same place his wife is, and I'm free, and I don't have anybody to tell me. My father
Go
told me
ahead and tell him,
what
girl.
to do, and I don't need a husband to tell me what to do. But ask him, let his wife become free. You might hear her on the air.
Hey, Maze, so you didn't want to thank Substitute Maze for filling in for you?
I did. I said thank you, but I said thank you since you need to have me every day. I don't want to be on every day.
All right.
I'm not selfish.
All right,
That's what
Maze.
selfish people like
Thank
Mike
you.
do.
Well, it's nice to hear
All
from
right,
you,
Hake.
both ladies.
So when you're not selfish and you don't do it and you follow his law and put your Bible down, stop following his law and do as his commandments say, then you consider yourself something. You don't have to be calling yourself that you believe in. But these Christians need to stop calling themselves Christians.
This
'cause
is
they
the
kill
same
Christ.
Maze,
Easter
by
is
the way.
coming. Easter's
Excellent
coming, so they
advice,
can't
Maze.
celebrate
I'll
the
talk to you
egg.
later, Hake.
They can't celebrate the Bonnie now.
All right,
because,
thank you, Substitute
whatever
Maze.
this is
Nice
out here
to hear from you.
has got y'all
Take care.
afraid and everything. So stop gossiping me and acting like you don't like you like.
Wait, you gossiped about
whatever you
Bible
are.
Go-To guy, saying
Excuse
he
me?
probably.
I didn't. I said assume. I assume Bible churches do have those feelings from back in those days. Back in the day,
Huh?
were you there to know?
No, but I don't care. But
Okay, thank you.
yeah, but I
And some of the
seriously
things you
doubt.
probably did, and
it's
some
not
of the
even
things that you
logical.
did, are you
But
proud of?
anyways.
James, are some of the things that you've done to people, are
It's
you
silly
proud
for
of?
you to justify. It's saying
I'm
that,
asking you a
that
question.
Bible Go-To guy probably spit on blacks. It's ridiculous.
I'm asking you a question, James.
Okay,
he
what?
still spit on him. He just don't spit out of his mouth.
He spits truth.
Yeah, right. Truth to what? To the devil. But I asked you a question. Some of the things that you've done in life, are you proud
He
of?
spits facts.
to
He
people.
spits facts. Huh? Say it one more time.
Some of the things that you've done in life to people, are you proud of? And it wasn't good.
No, right. Yeah, I've done
Thank you.
stuff that I'm
That's
not
all we
proud
need
of
to know.
that wasn't
So
good.
you have a good day.
All right, you too. Nice to hear from you.
Yeah.
Anything else, Substitute Maze? You still there?
Yeah, that's all I had to say, I guess.
I appreciate it. Nice to hear from you. Can I dox your real username?
Sure, I guess.
Thank you, Hot Computer Smell.
All right, talk to you later.
All right,
Hake.
take care. That was cool. So, The reason why I bring up this people don't change much stuff, I remember years back, my mother was telling me about some mutual, like family friend or something, guy who used to misbehave in some way or another, right? And she said, he's getting better. I say it just like she said it too. And my dad kind of chuckled, like he's laughing, like rolling his eyes almost, and like people don't change much. And it's true. People don't really change much for the most part. And President Trump, I remember before he was president, he was running against a bunch of Republicans, including Dr. Ben Carson, who is now on the head of the HUD, Housing and Urban Development. And he said, well, Dr. Ben Carson, it came out, I think he wrote about it in his book. I think he's probably the only reason that we know that this is true. He once took a hammer to his mother's head. Talk about hating your mama, right? I think he's not the only one who's done this too. But as a younger man, as a kid maybe, he took a hammer to his mother's head because he was so mad. He had a single mother. And President Trump said, oh, I think he has an anger problem. People don't change much. Like, you take a pedophile or a child molester, they don't really change much. You have to put them away. Unless something, very rare, exceptions to the rule. People don't change. And it is interesting. Dr. Ben Carson, I think he told a story where he once tried to stab a guy, but the belt buckle stopped the knife. And that's when he realized that he had this anger problem, and since then he's become like real nice. But that may not have solved it. Maybe he's just turned to niceness instead, right? So, like, are you changing? Young people sometimes think that they've changed certain habits and wildness. Yeah, maybe they'll come off being so extreme with their drinking and drugging and sex and all that mess. But they'll either like go back to it, or their personality, their real personality, or their twisted personality, let's say, isn't different. They're still stingy. If they're stingy people, at least they're behaving a little bit better in terms of like the drugs and stuff. But they're still stingy people, still angry people. Some born-agains, people that were called born-agains. I've learned that term from like people I grew up with, right? Talking about born-agains. And that's basically the people in AA or Narcotics Anonymous or whatever, the ones who spout like, oh, I was born again, and they quit drinking, they quit doing drugs, or they quit smoking, or they started smoking to replace the drinking and the drugs. Or they've gone clean, but they're super judgmental and angry and hard to be around. That's what they mean when they talk about the born-agains. But that's not the real born-again, I don't think. So Asmodor gives a diamond and says, real change requires spiritual awakening. Yeah. And, they say, the Bible says, narrow is the path and few are those who enter it. So all these people, like 80% of the United States are Christians, right? And then like 80% maybe of Jesse's followers are Christians. Listeners are Christians. Jesse Lee Peterson. But few are the people that really are living it because they aren't actually awake. So I was just wondering, because a lot of people think that they've changed, or they say, oh, my life is so much different. And I know like there's some Bible thumper type ex-atheists or so-called alcoholics or whatever that like Jesse in certain things, but they disagree with him on certain things about the Bible, and then they're still angry and judging and saying things that aren't true. And when I say Bible thumpers, I mean people that are thumping stuff that they misunderstand about the Bible, thinking that they're following the Bible, but they're not. So I don't know. It's just something that I was pondering. This past hour, Jesse Lee Peterson in his third hour was talking to a woman who claimed that she had been molested as a child by someone that she knew. And so that's what kind of reminded me of what Trump mentioned about child molesters. And I've been wondering about this issue. Because a lot of people, like, they want to do what's right, or they agree with the facts of what Jesse Lee Peterson is saying and what the Bible says and stuff. They're conservatives, or they're red-pilled, or they know the different Qs, the JQs, and all these Qs. They think they're awake, but they just know facts. They don't actually live it. So I was just wondering. By the way, before I get back to calls, Kenny Rogers died at 81. I don't know if I mentioned this on Sunday after it happened, but it happened, I think, on Saturday or Friday. He's the country singer, I think country, who sang that song, The Gambler. You got to know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, something like that. Know when to walk away, know when to run. You never count your money when you're sitting at the table. There'll be time enough for counting when the dealing's done. Something like that. I may have the lyrics wrong. Temple City once had where I grew up and where I was living before I moved to LA, once had a Kenny Rogers Roasters. So I guess he started like a restaurant business. It closed down, but it was like a chicken place. It was before I knew it was him who wrote the song. Great song. I heard that came out in like 78 or something. I didn't realize that it was that recent of a song. Very nice. So let me get to, and then I have some like content review possibly, if I have time. I am going to be opening the treasure chest on DLive. Thank you to Pyrrhus777. I'm sorry, from Pyrrhus777 for the diamond. Ultra-violent romance says, she black. Yeah, she is, referring to, I think, Maze. Let me just read a few of the super chats. Clowns to the left of me, jokers on the right. Says Filoshinsky. Asmodor gave a diamond. Very supportive, Asmodor. Thank you, man. He says, give us Trump bucks now. Right on. Big old ding says, gave a diamond. Thank you. Appreciate that. And let me just double check hold on, guys. Let me check oh, man. Okay. Super chats from YouTube, youtube.com/The Hake Report. A. Owens, who do you like to watch on YouTube apart from JLP? That's a good question. I like Frank Hassel. Oh my gosh, he's so funny. Ah, dang. Oh man, Frank Hassel. Woo. He's from the MDE, $1 Million Exchange, $1 Million Extreme, Sam Hyde crew. He has such interesting videos, and like they have me laughing, but they feel so kind of borderline wrong, but it's just so funny. I can't help it. And I don't know how I would react if he were to hassle me, but he hassles people. And he hassled a would-be supposedly so-called child molester guy. But anyways, it's really good. I like watching DLive. I like listening to Asmodor on DLive. Sometimes others. I actually caught, he has several channels on his network, TKR Review, and they recently reviewed my interview on Asmodor's show. That's cool. Every now and then I'll watch PewDiePie. I'll watch, there's a bunch of, Vince James, all these guys have some informative content. Sometimes I'll catch a little bit of Vox Day. All these guys, they're cool. There's a lot of them. Jib Jab, she, male, lesbian, slut. Man, you guys are making me feel bad with all these bad words. Elfin, Maze, your government is a Midnight Rider now. Stay in. Midnight Rider is, I guess, those KKK people that enforce the sundown laws. Means blacks can't be out past sundown. The good old days. Nah, whatever. I don't know. I can't say no because I don't know. Danny says, Hake, you Tom like a mug. Say hi to my wife, Julie, daughter Jasleen, and Peanut. Amazing. Beta, keep up the fight, bro. Thank you, Danny. Hi to Danny's wife, Julie. Hi to Danny's daughter, Jasleen, and Peanut. Nice. And Giovanni A, I think, says, I'm guessing that he might saying, here. A red down arrow with vertical words, here. Nice. Let me get to Donning Armor. Oh, yeah, hold on. Asmodor gave a diamond and said, thank me for my service. Asmodor also, I mean, he's referencing the Frank Hassel guy that I watch on YouTube. And Frank Hassel, he goes into these stores like gyms or grocery stores and says, I'm a veteran. Thank me for my service. And sometimes they don't want to thank him, or they don't believe him, or they like, get out of here. Because he says sometimes inappropriate stuff, or he puffs vape smoke. He's white, so he vapes. He puffs vape smoke into people's faces, which I heard is battery, but like assault and battery as battery to blow smoke in somebody's face, even vape. But he's funny. Black Thumb Bear says, good hair. I appreciate it. Let me get to Donning Armor out of California. Donning Armor, good to hear from you. What's up? Thanks for holding.
How's it going, James?
It's going fine.
Glad to see you back.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
glad to be back.
I saw the report about the stab that's going around the internet where girls are licking toilet seats, the Corona challenge, they call it, or something like that.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I couldn't help but notice in the chat room a lot of people were making sure to let everyone know that they're white in the videos. They're white girls. So not to be undone. The blacks also have a Corona game that they're playing now, and apparently they're face timing it or putting it on the internet, Instagram. I don't know the stuff what the young kids use, but they're recording themselves coughing on all the produce inside of grocery stores, which, yes, I understand licking a toilet seat is possibly one of the stupidest things during a pandemic, one of the stupidest things I can imagine, but there's a certain level of maliciousness that comes with actually trying to make other people sick with the coronavirus.
Yep.
Personally, I feel jail time should be doled out to anybody that purposely tries to infect somebody. I mean, this is a serious thing that's going on. I see people still saying, oh, it's just a flu, no big deal. More people die in car accidents or all this kind of stuff. Well,
I don't really buy
this is just the beginning of this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just the beginning of the pandemic. And you know what? Lives matter. And people just aren't behaving in a way that suggests that they have any understanding of consequences to their actions. I mean, these are people's parents, people's children that are dying from this stuff. And to make a joke out of it like that, I think is heartless, cruel, and criminal.
Yeah, it is. People are so blind. I remember, especially young people, right? And especially misguided or poorly raised people. I remember after I would spit my toothpaste out, I would also like spit up on the window as a 12-year-old. I was in 7th grade. Spit up on the bathroom window above the sink, just to see how high and far that I could spit. I would stand back from halfway across the bathroom, which isn't a big bathroom, and I would spit. And because I had seen these guys in 7th grade trying to spit up on top of their spit up on top of the roof of a school building, youth hut, and I'm like, oh, I want to do that. So I practiced at home, but my dad like opened the door on me and that was like the last time I got spanked. Oh my gosh, spanked at 12 years old. But it's like as soon as my dad walked in, I'm like, oh shoot, what the heck am I doing? And people don't have their fathers don't have that slap in the face wake up call that is evil, that's wrong to just be doing that. And then there's all this laughing. In the black culture, they have like this wild laughter, like hyenas, about like mass beatings. They go, when somebody like stomps on a girl or a guy or an old person or whatever. They're just
But
turning evil.
That's what they do for entertainment. I mean,
Yeah.
it's obvious that they enjoy what they're doing.
Right.
Like you said, they get a rouse out of it. I mean, they get hysterical,
Yeah.
especially when they're wilding out, right?
Yeah. And there's nobody
so-
really holding them accountable for it. There's nobody who's actually manly in the black community, that's respected in the black community, that is, or even in law enforcement, that, because they're just all politically correct cowards, that is like telling the truth about it. So the only people that are telling it are people that are getting shrugged off as so-called hateful, when they're not the hateful ones. They're, if anything, the loving ones.
Well, unfortunately, I think that you're right. They don't have role models, or in many cases, they don't have fathers to put that fear into them and some sense into them when they're younger. But I don't know if
I agree.
if
Jail
it's
time.
just because they don't.
Just to be clear, I agree with you. Jail time.
Oh yes,
Because
yeah,
these harsh
absolutely.
consequences do make a wake-up call. Some of these people eventually do grow up, especially if they face stuff like that.
I'm starting to wonder though if it's just the way they are, and maybe not the fact that there's no fathers in the home. I think that maybe they just genuinely, for the most part, kind of enjoy violence and things of that nature. And I don't know. I don't think that it's all dialed up to right versus wrong, good versus bad. I think biology plays a role, and different strokes for different folks. It seems that they enjoy themselves when they get up to this, these types of behaviors. So
Yeah,
I
don't know, and I can't say no. I can't say yes. And those matters where it's hard to know the truth, I leave that as an I don't know.
Yeah.
And people can be contained, right? Because, like, Jesse Lee Peterson puts it so well, right? A lot of people don't have the law in their heart, right? Or they don't follow the law in their heart, so they need the outside law to contain them. And for sure that needs to happen. And this diversity thing is not a strength. Obviously not.
No, it's definitely not a strength. I wanted to comment on the Hungarian thing, but that's another time.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not saying that the fathers in the home would help. It would.
Right.
But at a certain point, I think different people just behave differently.
Yeah.
And they have their own interests. They have their own communities, their own culture. They're different from us. To expect them to act like white people is a disservice to blacks. Why should they act like white people? They shouldn't have to.
Right.
I mean, if they're going to live inside of our countries, you would expect them to.
When in Rome, do as the Romans, right? We should have an expectation on them. But anyways, man, I appreciate it.
Food for thought.
Yeah. Thanks, man. Good to hear from you. Take care.
Have a good one, Hake.
All right. Let me get to Rick out of Hampton, Virginia. Rick, what's up?
What's up, brother James, man? The Hake Report. La, la, la. What's happening? How you doing?
I'm doing fine. Better every day. Thank you, man.
Yeah, man. You heard about this, man? What's that? 2 Republican senators, they claim they got an inside scoop. They sold their stock before the market crash.
Oh, I heard a little bit about this. I
heard
haven't kept up with the Congress, honestly. But I heard that there was this Republican woman. I think she's a pro-Trump lady.
Yeah, and a Republican. I think they was both Republicans. I think one was from.
Oh, there was multiple people, huh?
Yeah, it was 2 of them that I read about.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I don't know. It sounds
Go ahead.
like it may be shady. It may not be shady. It is interesting. I don't know I don't know.
My thing is, though, James,
Yeah.
if you buy stock, that's yours. You can do whatever you want with it. You can sell it or keep it. And like this, if someone tells you, look, I'll just sell it to my stock advisor. They told me maybe I may need to sell.
Right.
And that's your option.
Yeah.
You know, when
That's
when
true.
he sells it, when he sells it or keeps it, that's his stock and that's his to do with it.
Yeah.
It's another way that the Democrats are trying to create that war between the wealthy and the poor.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
Yeah, that's
You
true.
know.
They, these people like the Democrats, they just
Yeah.
they talk about, oh, I don't want corporate bailouts. but so phony.
You know, here's the thing too. What is the Democrats' hang up on the relief bill?
I'm going to open.
Go
Let me
ahead.
interrupt you briefly to announce this brief message. I'm opening the
super.
treasure chest on D Live in 5 minutes if Joel or I or Nick remember. Okay, guys? On dlive.tv/The Hake Report. Go ahead, Rick.
Yeah, and my thing is it's just crazy, James, how these liberals go around here trying to create this war all the time, like people supposed to be poor, people are supposed to manage their money well, you know?
Yeah.
And it gets under my skin, man. They don't want. I think the biggest hang up is that the big companies gonna get tax breaks. They should get tax breaks. To me, man, Amazon, I think they hire 600,000 people.
Wow.
They pay their health insurance. They pay their 401ks.
Yeah.
And they ain't counting all the stuff folks stealing from them.
True. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't kept up with how Amazon treats its employees.
Yeah, because it was
what?
upset
I
because
don't
Amazon
know.
didn't pay no taxes hardly.
Yeah.
And then I just want to research it. And you see what all they pay, man. If I'm going to government, I probably wouldn't let them pay much taxes because they do so much for the employees. They already give them a
Is
job.
that true? Man, I have heard. Okay, I remember when Amazon first turned a profit. I don't remember the exact year, but I remember hearing about it. The first time Amazon turned a profit. And that was years after we were hearing about Amazon being like a major player on the internet world, I guess. But
Wow.
I don't know. I don't know much. I cannot defend them or attack them. I know that the owner is a liberal, Jeff Bezos, who started Amazon. I respect him starting Amazon, but I think he's the richest man in the world, like $100 billion or something like that. I may be way off, but I know that he is very rich, Jeff Bezos, and he bought Washington Compost and made it even worse. I don't know if he made it worse, but he's like a liberal, anti-Trump, phony guy with phony values. But I do respect him creating Amazon. I don't know. A lot of these companies are very corrupt and bad influence on the world. I hold resentment for Amazon for banning the sale of Confederate flags and Confederate paraphernalia. I got I got a Confederate flag T-shirt like 2 weeks before, or a week before they quit selling them, and then I wore it one day on the radio show, and Jesse's like, "Get me one," and I went to get it, and it was I think it was after that shooting by that church shooting.
Dylan Roof.
Yeah, Dylan Storm Roof, and they quit selling those Confederate battle flag on anything. And I even went to the artist himself who created that shirt, and he's like, "No, I'm not doing it." And you could kind of tell that he's a liberal, right? So he's falling in line with these people. What a mess.
Wow, man, because I'm like, I've seen people with Confederate shirts. I don't judge them by their shirt.
Yeah.
A lot of people that wear the Confederate, I said that's part of history.
Right, and it's part of culture. It's
still
part of
the
love.
South.
It's not. Yeah. It's not a stupid hate symbol. The rainbow flag is a hate symbol. The gays.
Man, yeah.
The Democrat donkey is a hate symbol. It's worse than the Nazis. They've killed more people than the Nazis. Think about all the abortions that have gone on. And yeah, maybe some of the Republicans have committed abortions too. I don't know. Anyways, Rick, it's good to hear from you, man.
Always good to hear from you, James. Love you, brother. Keep up the good work.
Okay, take care. In like less than a minute, the treasure chest, guys. Get ready. Sandra from Michigan, it's good to hear from you. Thanks for calling.
Hey, James, and welcome back.
Thank you.
I'm just going to try to really quickly relay this story. And we're talking about, what young people are doing out with the toilet seats and spitting on produce and everything.
Yeah.
Because they don't have any common sense and they don't have any sense of value, moral values.
Right.
And where a lot of that is coming from is, as Jesse says, and here's a perfect example, my dental hygienist, when I had my teeth cleaned, grew up here where I live, and I'm not going to say where I live. Mm-hmm. But they are from Naperville, Illinois, which is about 45 minutes out of Chicago. And I said, what are you doing back here? What'd you move back here for? She said, because of the crime.
Oh,
it's
wow.
so bad now. And I said, did you live in the city? She said, no, we live 45 minutes out of the city. And I said, well, why are you struggling with the crime then? She said, because they're coming from the projects, from the inner city, out to the suburbs and committing crimes. And she said, now we have a Section 8, 45-unit project, apartment project that was built, and it's all black single mothers in there under Section 8, and she said they don't pay a penny for rent. She said their kids all have smartphones paid for by the government. They go to gymnastics paid for by the government. She said all the baby daddies now have moved in. She said, I was in the grocery store one day, and there was a black guy from this apartment building. She said they buy all the expensive meats because they resell them. They go take them on the street and sell them.
Yeah.
And he actually said to the girl who checked him out, how does it feel to be paying for my groceries?
Shameless.
And so when the hygienist, it was her turn to check out, she said, I don't know how you handled that, how you controlled yourself. I would have had to have said something. And she said, I can't say anything. I'd get fired.
Yeah.
And then she said one day, the hygienist was saying it was wintertime, and she said there's like a 3-year-old from this housing project in a diaper outside by itself. She said, so I went outside. I'm not bringing it in my house because I don't want to get accused of anything.
Right.
She said, I went outside, and I wrapped a blanket around it, and I called the police. And policemen came and said, oh, this is a child from the apartment complex. This happens all the time. And she said, but finally, she said, what was the deal breaker is there was a murder 2 houses down from them.
That is wild.
Yeah, and she said that was our ultimate reason why we moved. And she said our house, from the time this project went in to the time we left, dropped $50,000 in value.
Wow. That is a ton. And you know,
$50,000, yep.
Houses are supposed to go up in value. That's how you can like refinance and stuff like that, which means like, I don't know exactly what it means, but
and
it's
that's
crazy.
People's investment, you know.
Yeah.
Because after like 20 years, the value of your house should double.
Right.
But she said, but you know, when you have a murder that has gone on 2 doors down from you, people are moving out as quick as they can. White people are. They don't want to live in that kind of environment.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Because, you know, all of this stuff that's going on with a population that has a totally different value system.
Right.
And then they say, oh, you're prejudiced. You don't like black people. Well, how could you like any group of people that has a value system such as that?
Very good point, Sandra.
Doesn't matter what color. I don't care if they're white. If that's their value system, I don't want to live around them.
Very true.
So, you know, you wonder what the future of society is if you're passing on values such as that to future generations.
That's just adding on.
A society that just spirals downward.
And everybody like has their quirks. They were raised wrong in some way, or they brought on issues, or a lot of people accumulate more and more issues as they live. And you add that mess to people's normal messy issues, you get total mess. It's so messed up. Can I say mess again? Sandra, let me ask you my question. Do people change much?
Well, you know, hopefully, you know, they say every 5 years we mature and have new insights just from the imprinting of life and experiences.
Who says that?
But I think if you have a particular nature, no, it doesn't change.
Yeah.
It usually takes something of fairly, you know, significant
right
to change somebody or their thinking.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate.
I
do
so.
think that we change to a degree as we grow older.
For the better or worse?
For the better.
Interesting. All right. I appreciate
think
it, Sandra.
teaches us a lot of lessons.
It does. That's true. I think that you get more knowledge, and some of it is true, useful knowledge, and more maybe sometimes better habits. But people
Well,
also
just like
change for the
you
worse.
said when you were 12 and you were spitting on the.
Right.
But now you know, wow, that's not something I do because you were corrected.
Yeah.
So you change and you don't go around spitting on produce in stores.
Well, I wasn't ever gonna. I don't think I was ever on the track to start spitting or coughing on produce in stores. But then again, I'm not a Zoomer yet, or a Zoomer yet.
But you have learned things, and
True.
changed as you have matured. So yes, people do change.
Thank
but
you.
Unfortunately, there's some innate things that just never change in people.
Yeah. Thanks, Sandra. Good to hear from you. Take care.
Good to talk to you. Bye, James.
All right. Bye. Robert, I'm sorry I can't get to you and the rest of the callers, but let me just read the super chats real quick. Congratulations to the luckiest followers from the treasure chest. Reed Johnson, Dark Side of the Bear, what? Shaggy Boy, you know moo. I got it right this time. And Brandon M. And thank you to Asmodor, Grand Bear, Noah's Arkansas. Bubs Love, what's up, Bubs? I think he subscribed. Nice. Floshinsky, Black Thumb Bear, Pyrus777, Ultra Violent Romance. Very nice name. Nice name. Gorgonzola, hey. And Reed Johnson. And thank you guys. Appreciate that. Oh, somebody said good hair. I don't know if I caught that one. And how does your hair look better every day, says TNT88. Thank you, man. Well, I'm not going to tell you. All right, take care, guys. We'll see you tomorrow on the Jesse Lee Peterson Show and the Hake Report. Still 1 hour, but I'm working on when and how to go to 2 hours. TheHakeReport.com and JLPTalk.com for Jesse Lee Peterson stuff. Take care, guys.